smiles to the world, we're hitting first base. Marty Lurie with friends, home run. You know the ways and the trends, the stories all with the match of the block. It's Marty and friends. Marty and friends.
All right, great to be with you. Happy New Year in 2026. Eric is with us, of course, from Giant Sports Talk Live. Len Craig is here, great baseball guy, and our buddy Rick Smith, who we love talking ball with. So, guys, nice to have you here. First, Eric, how are you?
Doing great. It's great to get back on here. Marty, we got a lot to talk about. A lot of Giants news happened since our last live stream. And, yeah, I'm ready to get back into it.
All right. Glenn, good to have you on with us, and looking forward to your thoughts. You got the hat on already, so I know you're ready for baseball. All right. And our good friend Rick Smith, Rick and I go back and forth for years about Nolan Arenado. And about 4 years ago, I said he's done. And of course, Rick says he's not. Well, Rick, you got him in Arizona now. How about that?
Yeah. He's 52, Marty. So that maybe you can continue to bet on him, but I'm done.
All right, good. Hey, let's start with the Giants, truthfully, because really there's actual news about the ball club. Harrison Bader is here. He's 31 years old, I think. He's been around his last 2 years, not bad, combined with the Mets and the Phillies and all that kind of stuff. But he is going to be the center fielder, and Jung-Ho Lee is going to be the right fielder. So let's start with that one, because we did say on the show that Lee was going out of center field. We did say that. So, Eric, start with you. Harrison Bader, what's your thought about it? How does he fit in, and where do you hit him in the lineup, guys?
Right. I like the move because I think it was a hole that Buster Posey had to address. The outfield defense was just horrendous last year. And, everyone was talking about that in the offseason. Hey, what are you going to do about the outfield? Because that was one glaring hole. And they filled it with a Harrison Bader 2-year deal, right? I think it could get up to $21.5 million. And I like it. I mean, the guy's going to go out there. He's going to catch the ball. I think the big question is, can he stay healthy throughout the entire season? That's probably going to, is he going to be able to, availability is the best, right? How's that go? I can't remember. Best ability. Yeah. Availability is best ability. So let's hope that he can stay out there and go out there in center field, because I think he'd be great out there in center field. And as far as where you're going to bat him, I think he'd bat him lower in the lineup, right? Maybe somewhere around 7 or 8. Somewhere around there, and then see what we can. And then we'll see how Tony Vitello is going to work. Is he going to do the left, right, left, right, left, right, or is he just going to put the best guys in the best position as far as the lineup?
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about in this lineup, and a lot is involving Bryce Eldridge as well, and see where he ends up. I know Rick has got some thoughts about that. Rick, what about Bader for you? And
I really like Bader. I mean, everybody talked about the same thing, or has talked about the same thing for the last 2 or 3 months, which was lousy outfield defense. He instantly makes it better because Lee now can play right field. He's got a good arm. He hustles. He's a good hitter, not a great hitter. He's a good hitter. Strikes out a little bit, but they had to fortify the outfield, or it was going to be the same situation. Ramos, I guess, is going to be the left fielder, and maybe his outfield defense improves, but they had to have a center field, right field combination better than they had last year. And then this does it. So, and I always like Bader anyway. He's a hustler. He plays 100%. He seems like, my understanding is he's popular in the clubhouse. And so I don't see any downside whatsoever.
Yeah. Glenn, where were you on this?
Well, first of all, my first appearance on the show, so appreciate you inviting me in to take part in the festivities in a brand new year. Your kind words off the top. I'm a hockey guy. My broadcast career goes back 18 years of the American League and the NHL, but I am a baseball guy, first and foremost. Love the sport, Marty. So again, appreciate you having me on. As far as Bader, two sides of the coin on this one for me. First of all, as Eric knows, we do our nightly show over in Giant Sports Talk Live, and Marty, you got to just personally, you, Rick, Eric, everybody has to take their own view of things, their own opinion, because our chat, I mean, is littered with, for lack of a better word, guys who don't know what they're talking about. I went back and looked at a lot of video on Bader and his hustle, his ability to track balls down, to go over the fence and take balls away was incredible. But yet we still got guys are poo-poo in the move, and this guy, his defense leaves a lot to be desired. I think his defense is going to play great at Oracle Park. Lots of pasture to run around. He's going to track balls down. He automatically makes the outfield better, because we knew that was a bit of an issue last year. Jung-Hoo didn't play the greatest center field, and Ramos, I don't know if he could bend over and pick up a ball. I don't know what was going on there. But on the flip side, I love the move. On the flip side, I don't know, Eric has talked about it with me. It's another move where the Giants, they go out and get a guy, relatively, in my opinion, great deal. Same with the Arraez. Great deal. I love that deal. But they kind of play in the fringe financially. So for what they're bringing in, they're getting their money's worth. I'd still like to see a lot better caliber ball player. Bader has not been an everyday player in his career. So I expect he's going to filter in as an everyday player out there in center field and get a lot of at-bats. So the jury's out. We'll see what happens. It's an important month, April. If you guys, Rick or Marty, you've looked at the schedule, the month of April is absolutely challenging, to say the least. If we don't get off to a great start, there'll be a lot of questions asked, but I think it makes us a lot more competitive, Marty.
Well, he's a major leaguer for me. This isn't Donovan Walton, who's going to get DFA'd, every other week. This guy's here. I think there's a good chance of platooning him a little bit with Drew Gilbert. I think they're going to try to work him in there as a left-handed hitter, and of course Bader is a right-handed hitter. But he can hit doubles. Stolen bases his last 2 years, 28. Got caught 15 times. So he looks like the kind of guy that can run. But he's when you look at him, he's 5'11", 210. This is a chunky guy. So you got to keep that in mind. But he's got some power, and he can hit the ball out of the park. So I like it, and we'll see where he's a major league player. And that's the thing for me. He's a major league player, and we'll see where they place him in the lineup. So all in all, I think it's good. What it does to get Bader on this team and get Arraez on this team, number one, they traded Kwei Tang to Houston, for a minor league catcher. They've got to make a move with Arraez, and who knows, it could be an outfielder. It could be Matos. Could be Encarnacion. You don't know what they're going to do, but there will have to be a move for Arraez as well. But the outfield for me, Encarnacion is the big question mark for me. I don't think you give up on him. I think they like the bat, and I think that there's going to be a spot for him when it's all said and done. I think Matos is the one for me that's got a market, and maybe he can be moved. So we'll see. But all in all, the Bader move for me, good move. University of Florida guy. He's been around. He's 30 or so, a couple months past there. He's been a postseason player. So why not? Mm-hmm. It's okay. So for me, it's okay. Arraez. Let's talk about Arraez, because boy, you talk about a reaction of the fan base.
Wow.
My goodness. You think they took him out of San Quentin and put him.
I don't see how you can criticize Arraez. I don't. What's the downside of this? It's a 1-year contract.
Right.
He's one of the best hitters in the league, or in baseball for that matter. Won 3 batting titles. He doesn't hit for much power. Fine. I mean, this doesn't work. If there's one thing that doesn't work, is getting a bunch of guys that strike out 190 times and hit 25 home runs. That's not Arraez. And they talk about his defense. I mean, how bad can he be? I never thought, watching him, I never thought he was a bad defender at all. And I agree. There's all this criticism of whenever the Giants make a move. I don't see how you can criticize this thing. Everybody talked about how much they liked him offensively. Now he's on the Giants. Well, what's the matter? I mean, what's the matter with these people?
Well, it's the defense because you're putting look, but this is a pitching defense team in a big ballpark, and look, we watch Schmidt play second, we watch Koss play second, we've watched people flopping all over the place playing second base. Arraez is a little bit older, and he's slowed down, and he was never a great defensive second baseman anyway.
I thought he was only 28.
He's 28 years old.
28.
Yeah.
28
Not
years
old. Come on, Marty.
Legs wise, he's not driving the ball like he did the last couple of years. He's slowed down. It's more singles. He's a little different ball player now. I agree. 28 isn't old, but as a ball player, sometimes 28 you get to look a little older. But look, they have a lot of right-handed pitching, which means you're going to face a lot of left-handed hitters, which means left-handed hitters pull the ball, and which means that they're going to hit it at the first baseman, Devers, and the second baseman, Arraez. And that's a little bit concerning over the course of 9 innings. So for me, let's see where Arraez ends up in August, where he's playing. And to begin this, as Glenn says, it's a tough month of April, but he'll play 5 or 6 innings, and then they'll get him out of there. And Schmidt will come in, or Koss will come in, or I'm not sure if Fitzgerald will.
So you think he's a liability on defense? A liability?
I think there's a potential for that. There's a potential for that. Now, he's a smart player. He's a batting champion, so, he knows the game. But you got to cover ground. How many times have we seen these second basemen diving, trying to knock balls down in the hole, and they don't get to it? And that's what concerns me a little bit about him. But the bat I love the guy. I've had him on the show. Look at the lineup. I mean, the lineup becomes a lineup now with Bader in there. That's it's a major league lineup.
I guess you lead off Arraez. You lead him off.
Well, that's another good question.
Lead him off.
All right, you lead him off, and then you got to deal with Chapman and Adames back to back. They strike out a lot. Then where are you going to put Eldridge in this thing? Is Eldridge going to be here? If he's not, maybe Arraez and can Arcione become the DHs at some point, and Schmidt goes back to second. So Eldridge has a lot to do
up here
where all this ends up, and that's a lot to deal with. But all in all, I like the move of Arraez. I like him coming in the 7th inning. He's the bullet that you could put in there in that 7th inning and get him 2 at-bats late in the game when he's going to face right-handed pitching. He's going to slap the ball around. He can get guys in from third with less than 2 out. So for me, it's a good major league move. I like it.
Don't you guys agree that this is kind of a fresh approach, that we're going to get somebody that hits, makes contact, and doesn't strike out that much?
Correct.
And it's a major leaguer.
A welcome addition.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, this is the one. One thing, Buster Posey, he's building a balanced lineup now. Now you don't got a bunch of guys in there that are just going to go out there swinging from the hips. You got a guy who's going to make contact. And as far as batting in the lineup, I was like, hey, maybe we bat him a little bit lower. How about the 5th position? You guys, if you got guys in scoring position, he just has to flick the ball out there, and next thing you know, you got a run coming across the plate. How many times did we see that last year with runners in scoring position, less than 2 outs, and the Giants just couldn't get it done? And now, we have a guy that can go out there and put the ball in play, because that's something that the Giants have been missing. Man, I love the move. And the defense, we've already talked about that. Well, we got 2 Rons in the organization, right? Ron Washington and Ron Wotus. Maybe they can work some magic with him. Maybe not make him Gold Glove, but at least make him serviceable enough to where it won't be such a blight on the defense.
Well, we'll
Marty,
see.
I said to Eric last night that being around hockey as long as it was, and especially when you're building a quick team. So if it's the World Juniors or an Olympic team, the biggest liability is putting all goal scorers on your team. You have to have a structured balance. the Giants struck out. Oh God, we had to be near the bottom of the barrel as far as strikeouts last year. Automatic. What does he strike out, Eric? Like 3% or
3% of the time, something like that.
3%. So what is that?
3%.
The bat's on the ball. At least he's putting in. Something's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And I'm not really concerned about the defense. We've got some defensive players. That's great. We got. Chapman's a vacuum cleaner over there at third base. I'm quite. Sometimes you got to give a little to gain a little. And as far as his defense, I know he was. Again, does this surprise you with the Giants? He was injured last year, so he didn't get a full season under his belt and a smaller sample size. He played the majority at first base, where he had one error. And his appearances at second base, he failed to make an error. So the question of defense, I got to see him over a longer period of time to see how it plays out. But as far as the numbers go, this is a can't miss. I was kind of wound up on our show last night, wasn't I, Eric? I cannot understand. Remember, Eric, we were doing a show on Giant Sports Talk Live last April when Preller goes out and gets him. And the fan base went nuts. Why can't we do this? Then we do it, and the people are they're agitated, like me. And I don't understand why people get so worked up about what the Giants do when it's good for the team. They look at, the question is defense. And the question, that's not what the topic should be. It's what his bat brings to the lineup.
Well, I agree 100%. I love the bat in the lineup. Mm-hmm. And where you're going to put him. Rick says lead him off. Maybe he becomes the leadoff hitter. You got Adames, you got Devers in there, you got Chapman, you got people that can do damage. We know they can do damage. So yeah, I love the lineup. It's major leaguers. I'll say it again.
Yes.
One other thing, Marty, I might add. I said to Eric last night, do you not agree that I thought that signing Arraez was twofold? Like you say, Schmitty now comes off the bench. Our bench. We lost the guy who played first base. What's his name, Eric?
Dom Smith.
Dom Smith. And Wilmer's gone. So our bench was depleted. I thought this was a twofold move, Marty, because not only do you add him to the lineup, if Schmitty is considered a bench player, you've strengthened your bench as well. I think Buster has done a pretty damn good job balancing and giving the team options, Marty.
Well, the bench is Encarnacion, it's Gilbert, it's Koss, it's Schmidt, and it's the catcher, whoever that's going to be, Susak or the other from Venezuela. That's your basic bench. So when you get Arraez on the bench coming off at a time when you need him, I love it. I love it. I like the move. I think it makes the team more powerful at the plate. And I like the Bader move. I think it gives him a little bit of oomph in the outfield. And I think, I'll tell you, my surprise guy this year, I know we're going to do a lot of shows. This is just the first one. But I think Jung-Ho Lee is going to have a big year. I really do. When you look at doubles, triples, home runs, he has them. And if he can figure out how to put the ball on the ground. Now, Bader doesn't do that. See, Bader is not a ground ball hitter. Bader is a fly ball hitter, and not great in this park. You want to hit more on the ground, but he's not that kind of guy. But Jung-Ho Lee can be that kind of guy to put the ball on the ground. He puts the ball on the ground, he's getting on. And I really do. I think he can have a big year this year.
That would be huge. I mean, he finished the season almost 270 with 270 average. I mean, he had some doubles and triples, as you said, and then you put him in the right field. Maybe, you don't expose his glove as much, but I got a feeling, they'll coach him up so he's going to be better in right field. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'd like to see him lead off, to be honest with you. You talked about it all last year, Marty, having
he's got to make contact to do that, and he struck out a lot, and they overpowered him. See, I think Arraez is going to help Lee because this is a big ballpark, and Arraez is going to slap that ball down the left field line. He's going to slap it down the right field line. He's going to hit it into short left field, right field, and Lee is going to see this, and I think he's going to help Lee a lot. I think Lee is a key guy for me.
Interesting.
Key guy for me.
Yeah. I watched a lot of video the last few days, kind of doing some homework on Arraez. He's a professional hitter too. I mean, I don't compare him to Wilmer, but I'm a big Wilmer guy. And with two strikes, the old choke up on the bat, Arraez, he's not afraid to go over down the line at third. He wasn't even afraid to drop down bunts. He did what it took to get on base, and that's what I like. I do want to see the Giants. If Lee leads off, let's at least try. Put him in the move. I feel the Giants have failed to speed as an asset in any way, shape, or form over the last few years. You get the guys who get 10 or 15 and it adds up, I know, but I want to see somebody who's aggressive on the base paths, and maybe that comes from the manager.
Well, you need the guy too. You need a player to do that. Now Bader, you think is, but he gets caught a lot, so you don't know when he ran or what the situation was. But we'll see what happens. But Wilmer, this is Rick Scott.
Marty, it's about time you got somebody on here that likes Wilmer as much as I do, which is Glenn.
Yeah.
So, I love the guy. I'm not letting it go. I mean, I guess he's gone, but that type of hitter. And that's what Arraez is. He goes the other way, thinking about what he's going to do. I mean, I can't tell you how much that bugged me last year. Runner on third, nobody out, 2 strikeouts and a pop-up. Guaranteed. And nobody's thinking out there. At least Arraez is thinking. And Bader strikes out a little bit, 24% last year, which is kind of high. But getting back to what Posey was doing, look, he can't compete with the Dodgers. You can't do it.
Mm-mm.
So you try to get a team that's better and can be the 5th or 6th seed in the playoffs. That's the whole objective.
Well, all right. Well, we're going to take a break because the thing for me is still the pitching.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, we could talk about this offense all day long. The offense is better. There's no question it's better. It's going to be more exciting. Ramos is a year older, and he's going to get better. I think Lee's going to get better. Devers has got a full year in. Bailey, for whatever it's worth, had a good end of the year last year, so we'll see what happens there. Adames hit over 30. So I'm not going to worry about the offense. I'm really not. But I think we got to talk about the pitching and specifically the bullpen. That's for me because they do have 5 starters. But I'm concerned about the bullpen and think about it. You may want to look at the 40-man roster, but you tell me what the bullpen's going to look like. And you get in the opening game against the Yankees with a 3-1 lead in the 8th inning. You tell me how it's going to close at that point. So, but let's talk.
There's only one more thing that's more important than the pitching, Marty, and that's the sponsors. So
that's right. I was going to say that's Gene Bagato up in Bodega Bay. I said there have been some beautiful days up there. It's a great time to visit the Sonoma coast. I was texting with Gene today, and I got a nice email from one of our listeners who spent the midweek up there at the Inn at the Tides and loved it up there. The Tides Wharf, the best seafood available, is waiting for visitors to enjoy either in the restaurant or take home or later. You're looking to get away like Chris was, who sent me the email for a night or two. The Inn at the Tides, with spacious rooms, all bay views, offers a perfect spot to escape from the stress of life and everything else that we go through. So if you need a change and don't want to travel too far, remember the Tides Wharf and the Inn at the Tides in scenic Bodega Bay. So I want to make sure I get that in. And I got a nice email today from Chris, our listener,
Nice.
who is up there. Rick Robin, and we'll play his spot too. He's doing a lot more things now. It's not just the remodeling and things like that, home inspections and that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk to Rick live on our Sunday show on February 22nd. We'll get him on there. Nations has got a spot in Fisherman's Wharf. Come on.
Nice.
How about that? So you talk about, Nations getting into San Francisco. I'm excited about that. So let's hear from a couple of our sponsors, then we'll come back. But I want to talk bullpen guys and pitching when we come back. So go ahead, Eric.
Here we go.
It's been a pleasure working with Rick Robin this year. Rick Robin, ROBBEN, NapaConstruction.com. Rick, the last time you were on with us, you told us about kitchen and bath remodeling, but there's a lot more going on up in your area.
Yes, there is. ADUs, auxiliary dwelling units, which are nose to ground units. We can do your existing garage, attached garage, even building a new unit in the back. And so what we do is come out, bring our architect out there, such a great thing. No sewer hookup fees, no water hookup fees. So that's what we do.
Rick, how does one start the process with you? How does one get in touch with you?
Oh, you call Tammy, 707-332-7575, 7 days a week.
Rick Robin, ConstructionNapa.com. Rick, the thing I like about this, no problem for me. You come out with the plans, the permits, everything is in-house, no fees, and you get a new unit that you can rent out and get money back on your investment right away. I like it, Rick.
Thanks, Marty. Love talking to you.
Rick Robin, ConstructionNapa.com. Fans, joining us is Grant Power, President and CEO of Nations. Grant, last year we talked about the amazing breakfast at Nations. I'm going to ask you this. What's your favorite lunch?
You know, I'm pretty split. I guess I'm kind of like a pitcher who has two favorite pitches they like leaning on. I'd say half the time I do the hamburger and half the time I do the wild salmon burger. It really depends on which protein you want. We love our beef supplier in Northern California. We've been with them for decades. We test our beef all the time. We sell ocean-caught wild salmon. Friends don't let friends eat farm salmon. It's absolutely delicious. You know, to mix it up, I guess it's like a pitcher who has a two-seamer and a four-seamer, or maybe a four-seamer and a cutter. I actually go grilled onions on my hamburger half the time and raw onions the other half. Today at lunch, I got the French fries, but half the time I get the onion rings, and I had a wonderful slice of pecan pie. There's something for everybody, whether you like hot dogs or grilled cheese. It's really up to the individual what mood they're in, but my go-to is either the beef with the hamburger or the wild salmon, which is absolutely delicious.
Wow, I love it. Grant Power, President, CEO of Nations. Grant, thanks so much.
Pleasure being on.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Always good. I appreciate it. Georgie Brothers, we'll hear from them a little bit later. All right, guys. A couple of things in my notes that I had. I wanted, before I forget. Harrison Bader, is he another Austin Slater? Is that what we're looking at here? Kind of can hit left-handed pitching. What do you think?
Well, he's more proven. He's more proven than
Right.
Slater.
Yeah, better player, right?
Better player.
Yeah, better player than Slater. I had that down in my notes here to make sure I mentioned that. All right. It's 3-1 Giants. It's the 8th inning against the Yankees on March the 25th, the day after Mardi Gras, by the way. It's opening day, right? Whatever that Wednesday is. What do you do in the 8th inning? And how are you going to get it to the closer? Rick, I know your time's limited. I'll start with you.
Well, I guess you get to Walker's going to be the closer right now. They got a real hole in that bullpen. They got now, you know, we haven't been critical of their offense, the additions of Bader and Arraez, but this is a problem. Now, this is a real problem. That's why I think they should trade Eldridge and get a pitcher, relief pitcher, starting pitcher. They got to do something because I don't like going into the season with this staff at all.
All right. Where are you, Glenn, on this thing, bullpen-wise? What do we got? It's 3-1. Who are you going to turn it over to here?
Boy, I'll tell you, that's a good question, Marty, and it's something that we're going to see unfold coming. And again, I hate to keep bouncing back to this April schedule. Going to be some tough games to close out, I'm sure. You got the Yankees, you got the Mets 2 series, you got the Phillies, you got the Dodgers. We're talking some pretty competitive lineups you're going to face. And I in baseball, I understand the things you've got to do when you're managing the ball club or you're overseeing the playing the roster. I was really surprised at how Buster, he kind of decimated what we had last year. Whether you liked him or not, we had a closer. We had a closer, Duvall. We had a closer. Gone. We had the best setup man last year statistically, I think, in baseball. I remember one kind of blown outing, but Rogers, he was lights out last year. They were gone. So I thought on the day of the trade deadline, I wasn't on with Eric that day. He did a marvelous. I think he was on for like 6 hours doing the trade show, which he normally does a good job of. And I thought, all right, looks like they're going to tear some of this down. But they're really not. And that's one of the things, Marty, when it comes to the roster in general, not just pitching. I'm kind of surprised that I know this is a line that's used on many media points, but they haven't picked a lane, I don't think. They kind of plug in play, we got Bader. Oh, we got this guy. We got that guy. They kind of plug pieces in. I wish they would there'd be more development, watch it grow, watch guys develop, build a team that way. Houston did that. I can remember going over to Oakland watching many an afternoon game when the Astros were in town. Oh my God, what they win like 60 games one year I was there. They were terrible. They built it with young players. And I wish the Giants would do more of that. Can you do that with pitching? I don't know. But right now, I've said to Eric, regardless of what you do offensively, you got to have pitching to win. You've got to have the pitching. They don't have enough depth in the starting roster right now, in my opinion. The number 3, 4, 5, we'll see what unfolds. What say you, Eric? I just think you don't win without the pitching.
Well, speaking of that, who's the guy? I don't think the guy's on the roster and who's going to close out the ninth yet. I still think that they're going to go out there and get some type of high leverage arm. They have to. I don't know if I want to I don't know if I want to trust Ryan Walker again out there. I think that you can't do that. And who else do you have? I mean, you got that Sam Hintages, but he's coming off of shoulder surgery. We don't know. Let's see what his spring is going to be like. I wouldn't throw him to the fire. Maybe go out there and get a Kopech. I don't know if you'll be able to trade for a high leverage type of reliever that's had experience in the ninth. So that's going to be maybe Kopech, because I think he's still out there as a free agent. Yeah. Maybe you could get him on a 1-year deal. So that's my guess, is that they're going to.
I would take him and I'd bring him into spring training and work with him and use him all spring training. Why not? It's a major league arm. The guy was hurt. He had a knee injury. His release point was all messed up. They had to get him out of there. The Dodgers did during the playoffs. But I'm looking at you got Beck, you got Birdsong. They love Birdsong now that they think they can do something with him. You get Bivens, who's very functional, but more of a seventh inning guy. He's more the middle guy. They love Brubaker. They actually brought Brubaker back. They like the arm, but I think they got him for starting depth, I guess. What about Buto? We don't know much about him, but he was a guy with the Mets. He was in the bullpen.
That's one of the problems I have with this Giants team year after year. Now we're talking about the bullpen. Do you guys not agree with me that it seems like every year when it comes close to opening day, there's a lot of could-be's? Yeah. What if?
No,
a lot of maybes. We don't know.
I say it all the time. You don't want a lot of ifs.
Yeah.
But just in case 29 said Peguero, and I said that over the weekend.
Peguero? Yeah, Peguero.
The guy at least throws 100.
He does.
He's a little older, but he is someone maybe he can put it together. Now, Roop's pretty good, but you need him in the rotation.
Right.
With Hauser and Maley, you need him in there. Seymour, Tidwell, Wisenhunt, Keaton Wynn. It's Glenn. It's what Glenn says. It's all these guys that you just throw. You hope something's going to work out. I don't think you could go into the season. I think you need. Randy Wynn said it at one of these banquets I went to down at Santa Clara, and he was talking about the Giants. He said, "Well, we think a lot of guys on the team are going to make the next step forward, and that's why they didn't go out and
wow.
veterans." So that's what he said.
Hoping's not a strategy, right, Marty?
I think that's the strategy, is they're hoping that some of these guys take a step forward.
Well, who is the number 2 starter right now? Who?
Ray.
Oh, that's right, Ray. Yeah, well, that's right, Ray. Okay.
But we have no. I mean,
you get Webb. Webb's going to give you his 200 innings. God forbid something happens to him. But then you get Ray coming back.
You got Roop.
Then probably you got Maley in the 3 spot. And then I think you got Roop in the 4 spot and Hauser in the 5 spot. Something like that. And, then you get Webb coming back. So if you have to go to the bullpen for Hauser, which can happen, at least you have Webb in that spot next where you're going to get 6 innings out of him. So you're not going to kill the bullpen.
Marty, I know that when you come to pitching, a lot of people in our chat, we talk about it almost nightly. And I've said to Eric countless times that I know you need some depth because, again, right now as it is, if Ray or Webb went down, oh my God, the season's an absolute.
Oh yeah.
I know you need depth, but wouldn't you rather have quality than quantity right about now?
Yeah, of course. Look, you almost wish you had Verlander here.
Right.
You know, he's still out there. He's not coming here, but
No.
you know, he's going to go to the Tigers or something like that. But yeah, you need that you know, because you're looking at if something goes wrong, you're looking at Brubaker, essentially.
How about this, Marty? And again, the Giants are going to have to open up the paycheck. What if they go out there and somehow they're able to get Framber?
Oh,
And I think that, hey, here we go. I mean, that you got a three-headed monster if you get Framber. And then maybe because you're paying Malley $10 million for 1 year, put him in a bullpen. He hasn't been stretched out, right? He can't stay healthy.
You can't put him in the bullpen, though. You know, bullpen's guys pitch 2-3 times a week, and he can't do that. But
they got to make a trade for a pitcher.
Framber.
Got to make a
get
trade.
Framber.
Well,
Make a trade.
I think it's a free agent. They still have about $12 million to work with. They don't want to go over this number, and they really don't. So it may be a trade, getting rid of somebody, and then signing a pitcher. But Framber Valdez changes the equation for me.
It does.
It just changes the equation. It makes it a different staff. It looks different. I still think the bullpen's a mess the way it is. But you put Framber Valdez in this rotation, as goofy as he may have been at the end of the year and crossing up the catcher and all this stuff, this guy is a major league pitcher in a big ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
He's
a lefty.
And the other thing is Zach Gallen. We've seen Zach Gallen pitch a lot. Zach Gallen's got a great arm. Zach Gallen probably you can get him on one of those pillow type contracts where he's not going to break the bank. Yeah. I like Chris Bassett. I like that. Now Bassett is sort of like a Maley Hauser guy. So you already got two guys like that.
Right.
I'm thinking you need a starter.
Oh yeah.
You need a starter.
If
you had a starter, I know it may be crazy, but you could put Roop in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roop is good. Roop could go to you could have Roop in the bullpen, and you're not at the it's not that bad to do that.
They seem to be confident now about Birdsong. Did he pitch well in the minors when he was sent down? He didn't, right?
He was atrocious.
Well, where's the confidence there? And in Birdsong,
it's spring training confidence that we got a new pitching coach, this and that, and we saw him as a relief. He was great as a reliever. Then he lost his release point, and he was gone. And mentally, he's a kid. He was a kid, and he didn't know how to get it back again. We've seen this with players. So it's a big challenge for him to come into spring training and not get whacked around and build his confidence up again. He's a project to do that, but the arm is there.
Yeah. Marty, I have a question for you. You watched a lot of baseball, and you've seen how if you don't have enough pitching entering the season, you're in trouble right from opening day. You got to have the depth, and you have to have the quality, not the quantity. You have to have quality outings that at least you got a shot to win. So my question to you is, this is a perennial team that doesn't make the playoffs. If they're entering this season on what ifs and could be's and maybes, and we think he might be, and the player isn't, when are we going to see a day and when we get answers, and who is going to have to answer for all this maybe and what if?
Well, Buster is the right guy to do it, and because he's not going to get that kind of criticism, it's not going to happen.
Is that fair though to the fan, the fans, the people who spend money to go to the ballpark? Like people I think that the organization's got to answer too. Why is this not a 500 team? Why does this team not make the playoffs? La-di-da-di-da. And one good year, which was kind of an anomaly, and we're bounced in the first game of the Dodgers, or the first series by the Dodgers.
But Glenn, does that mean you're looking for a big free agent signing? Is that what you're talking about? Or I think he's decided not to go down that road, right?
Well, to your point, Rick, and I think that's kind of where they're at. But let's talk about this. Buster Posey has done a remarkable job in filling all these holes, and he's still about $15 million under the CBT after filling all these holes. I mean, look, I give him credit to do that, but I think you're just that one guy away. And that one big splurge. I mean, you're just talking. How much money do the Giants have invested into the starting rotation? Very little. Logan Webb is on a team-friendly deal. I think he's $15 million a year for the next 3 years, and then after that, it's Hauser.
If you want to compete, and really become a team that competes, you're going to have to spend some money and get some
Yes.
players. You have to do it.
Yes.
Look, the young shortstops, look, maybe they'll be terrific. Maybe that's going to happen, but that could happen 3 years from now. But, you have a team right now that's built sort of to win now. Thomas Chapman and Devers and, those guys in 3 years, they're going to be different players. You're not going to have Bader anymore. You're not going to have Arraez anymore. Ramos, who knows where he'll be. But, your core guys, they're built to win now. Logan Webb's another one. This 200 inning thing, it's not going to last forever for him. So I agree with you. I'd say go out and spend the money now, even if it puts you over the cap. Get something that can change, and that's where the pitching comes in. We haven't talked about the left-handed pitching. And, Rick, before you get out of here, Gage, Henches, Eric Miller, who is all over the place. He's a great arm, but he didn't last the whole year. And then San Martin they got, I think, from Cincinnati. And that's basically your left-handed pitching.
Yeah, I kind of like Miller more than you do. I don't know what happened to him. Did he get hurt? I don't know. I liked him, though.
He got hurt. And big arm.
Cranky elbow.
Big arm, tough kid, and all that stuff. But
look, they're not going to start. They're not going to start the year with this pitching staff. Not going to happen. They got to do something. It can't happen. I mean, this pitching staff is scale of 10 about a 3 right now. You can't start with just 2 starters, two well-known starters. Ray and Webb. It's not going to happen.
Well, they're counting on Birdsong doing something, and they're counting on Tidwell, the guy they got from the Mets, who's another Tennessee guy. They're counting on that. So this is what spring training is going to be. It's going to be a lot of trial and error for a lot of these young pitchers. Carson Seymour, McDonald, and some of these names that we heard last year. And
Rick, sorry, Marty, go ahead.
No, they're just hoping, as you say, that somebody's going to break through.
Rick, you bring up a good point. I asked somebody's inevitably, if we do not continue to make the playoffs, then somebody's got to answer. And I don't want this to be pussyfooting around Buster, but Buster knows what he's doing. Eventually somebody, if you don't win, you don't win. So my question to you, Rick, is if the Giants had $800 million and we were right there with Shohei Ohtani, and it was a flip of the coin. Where's all this money? Why aren't they spending the money that apparently they had for, they could spend all these other years? Where's the money?
I went to 3 guys.
Giants, is it lining people's pocket instead of going into the product? Because I've always maintained with Eric, if you want to win, you got to spend the money. And what happens when you spend the money? More people come to the show. More people buy jerseys. It pays. That Shohei deal, that's going to be paid off probably this year. And then, what they're doing, how they're paying them. They're not paying them for about another 8 years. If you build a quality, sorry, Rick, I must have pissed him off. It's gone.
He dropped off.
I was going to ask Rick, where's the money going? If we want to spend, what's the excuse now? We had all this money for Shohei. Can't we spend a little bit of it on pitching? Marty, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't feel this cap thing, this artificial number that seems to be governing them, has to be that way. And I'm still at that point where 1 or 2 pitchers can be game changers for this ball club because they made a nice little ball club here. They can catch Rick. Rick's back. Rick, we're going to let you. I know you got to go.
I'm good, Marty. I don't have to go. I don't have to go, Marty.
You don't. Answer Glenn's question then. Glenn directed that to you. Where's all the money? What they do?
Yeah, where's all the money going? If they could give it to guys like Judge and Ohtani and they fell through, how come they can't spend a big chunk of that and get me a pitcher?
Because I think they spent a lot of money on Devers. They spent $250 million on Devers, right?
Yeah.
I think
180 on Adames.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money on Adames, and Chapman's got a big salary. Yeah, I think they're just set. I think it must come from the ownership. I think they're just dead set on not trying to compete with the Dodgers payroll wise, and it's not even going to come close. But I just think they're adamant and going down a different road. The only trouble is you get people like Bader and Arraez. They fit well. There's nothing that's been done except from Molly in terms of the pitching staff. And this kid, they're not gonna start the year with this pitching staff. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
And to your point, Marty, real quick, and this is something I've been kind of hammering home. The Giants, Oracle Park has paid off. They're in the 9th largest media market in San Francisco. You're the only major league team in town, and you're the 5th richest team. They have the resources. It's the willingness on whether or not they want to go out there and be a little bit more aggressive. I'm not saying you need to go out and keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, with the Dodgers, but they should be able to go out there and spend a little bit more and really put together a pretty damn good team. I mean, we've already talked about, Marty, you said the offense right now, we're okay. Focus on the run prevention side of the house and just go out there and go get a starter.
And treat the team like an investment, not just adding players. Your product is an investment. And if you build it, they will come. And I got one more important question. I want to get Marty's opinion on this. Marty, if I could ask you this.
Sure.
Can a major league team operate with, like shareholder? Like how many owners do the San Francisco Giants have? I know there's a decision maker, but I mean, when you got a board of directors meeting and they're taking tickets at the door. I
thought there was something like 20, Marty. How many are there?
I thought there was over 30 now.
30?
20 to 30, but Johnson calls the shots here.
Yeah.
He's got the majority of the money and all that kind of stuff. So he's calling the shots. Everyone else is kind of along for the ride, and they're all doing well. They got the real estate investments. Their initial investments have tripled. They've gone up 10, who knows how many times. But it's Posey, putting him in there. They've insulated the team from the kind of questions Glenn is asking.
Makes sense.
Having Posey there. And that's why Posey's there. Because he can say, hey, we're going to try to play winning baseball. We're going to get people who can hustle. We're going to get this and that. And that's what they're trying to do. They're not trying to do it the other way. So to get in, it's 85 wins, 88 wins is what you need to get in. Mm-hmm. And they had 81 last year with a team that basically was falling apart. So they think they can pull it off. And Randy Wynn said it. They think there's going to be some breakthroughs, and that's what they're going to do. But they actually do have a shot. Look, there's probably 9 or 10 teams like the Giants. 4 or 5 of them are pretty well locked in that are going to get in. But the other 4 or 5 are like the Giants. And frankly, 1 or 2 players make a real difference in that group. Mm-hmm. Look at the Diamondbacks went out and got Santana, the first baseman today.
Reds brought back Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah. Look, I like Grichuk. I would rather have Grichuk than Encarnacion or Matu. And he's still out there. He's another major league kind of guy who could hit left-handers like crazy. So we'll see. But we'll take a break. We'll come back. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with this automatic ball strike thing. And talk a little bit of that when we come back. So, Eric, take it away. All right.
Here we go.
Fans, great news. If you enjoy Original Joe's, there's a new Original Joe's coming to Walnut Creek, opening late May, early June. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It is going to be fabulous. 300 seats, 13,000 square feet, 3 outdoor patios with 90 outside seats, a full exhibition counter and cocktail lounge. That's the best. And the cocktail lounge will have a multitude of TVs to watch the Giants and the dreaded A's if you want to. It's the first opening of an Original Joe's in 70 years in a new market, and this is really going to be something. 9 years since opening in Westlake, so this is going to be fabulous. It will have a private dining room with accommodations up to 40 people, with its own private bar and patio. It fits Walnut Creek like a glove. This is going to be something else. I can't wait to do some events at the new Original Joe's in Walnut Creek, coming late May, early June. It's fall at River Islands and Lathrop, and the schools are back in session. There are 3 top-rated K through 8th grade academies within the community, and construction just started on Academy number 4. How about that? River Island's high school students are busy in the classroom and on the sports fields of their amazing new campus. Elsewhere in Northern California's most successful lifestyle community, they're putting the final touches on another park. This one with a playground, workout areas, tennis, a splash pad, and a picnic area. The fall weather is still perfect for launching a kayak or a paddleboard. Well, and I love that. Off your own deck and heading over to the Boathouse restaurant for lunch or dinner. More than 4,000 households have already made the move to River Islands. Today, with 15 neighborhoods priced from $600,000 to over $1 million, there's more variety in home styles and sizes than ever before. In fact, the only thing missing at River Islands is you. Start your tour at riverislands.com. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands? It sure was for me.
Eric, I want to see our buddy Marty in that kayak or that boogie board.
Look, I know the answer a little dated, and we'll update them, but those are the people that help us Bridge Bank,
Awesome.
Western Alliance Bank as well. A couple of things. One, Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras, Rick, I hope you come this year. Mardi Gras is the night before the Yankee game. Original Joe's in San Francisco. I've already got about 70 people who've signed up, and I just put it out like 2 days ago. So Marty Lurie at yahoo.com. If you want to go, send me an email, and then I'll send you the information if you want to do that. The other thing is the movie, Baseball Mensch, the Marty Lurie story, is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So you go to Amazon Prime for $2.99. You can see it. It's got 1 million people that you know, and you'll like the story. So that's been going well too. So that's
Artie, I heard that Eric makes an appearance. He's in the background.
No.
He made the movie. He's a movie star.
I know. It's just a flash.
Rap's in it a lot.
Rap. That look, you had some. And that's something that I absolutely. It has a little bit of backstory about you, Marty. Of course, it's about you. It has that backstory, and then it talks about all the people that you have come in contact with, and how you've impacted these different individuals, and it's fantastic. Great stuff.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Guaga says this, Eric. Let's put that one up there.
Yep.
Did you see it? What's he talking about here? What did Larry?
Yeah, he was on Dan Patrick, and he was talking about. I guess they brought up the past, and Larry said, "Hey, we were in there with similar deal with Shohei Ohtani, but he decided to go to LA, and with Judge, basically, Judge was going to go wherever he wanted to, and it sounded like he had it pretty much dead set on going back to the Yankees. But I'll tell you what, it was beautiful seeing Oracle Park across the McCovey Cove because they're broadcasting from Mission Rock, so."
Cool. All right. Let's jump on this thing before we get out of here.
Sure.
We're going to have automatic ball strike challenges. You're going to get 2 challenges. If you're right, you keep it going. If you're wrong, 2 and you're out. But there's a strategy involved with this thing as to who on your team is going to be allowed to make challenges. You don't want Patrick Bailey challenging. You want Devers challenging.
Right.
You don't necessarily want to challenge on an 0-2 pitch. Or maybe a
3-0.
Yeah, 3-0. There's a lot of strategy involved with this, and Joe Sheehan, who's going to be with us, I think next week, wrote a good story about it. So, Rick, you got to see this article. It's interesting to see who's going to challenge and who isn't. And apparently, the pitcher has the worst view to make a challenge of the pitcher, catcher, and the hitter.
Well, it just shows you how much smarter Sheehan is than me. I never thought about half that stuff, about when you challenge, who challenges. I guess they're going to mandate who can challenge, right?
Yeah.
The catcher, pitching-wise, obviously has the best view. Maybe the pitcher never gets the challenge. It's got to be the catcher, right? And the batter, especially if you're a young batter, I don't know. Some guys think they're never wrong anyway, But can you imagine a situation where you get some guy out there and he's wrong every single time?
Well,
you
can't challenge in the second inning with nobody on base. You better challenge, with second and third and 1 out, and a 1-1 count or something. You got to do this strategically. And these guys, in the moment, they get excited. They're going to have to restrain themselves. Glenn, this is going to be interesting.
I think it should just be the look over. The manager should be the guy who makes the decision. He's the
Can't
boss.
do it. No.
So I watched the Dodgers. Actually, this was quite interesting. The Dodgers, the evil empire, they actually broadcast their fan fest on the weekend, and they were asking the pitchers about that. And it's kind of open debate down there in LA. Apparently, the pitchers are going to start. If it doesn't work out, they'll move to the catcher, and then they'll just kind of play it. April will be a play it by ear, and they're not too worried about it. The only thing I don't like about this whole thing, Marty, is maybe you and I are the old guard here. What happened to? So I grew up. I remember collecting my cards, and I knew every stat and every player and the game back from. I started becoming a big fan around 75. Into the 80s when I was in junior high and high school. Why can't we just keep the game simple? Bigger bags, and you can't. Who's just can't throw over more than twice to first? And are there too many changes? And is this just another gimmick and another move that doesn't have to be made? I don't know.
Well, the world has changed. Eric, you can answer that.
Yeah, it's just it's technology, man. That's the problem. If you use it in a way that's going to help the game, and look, I've seen it, the ABS work firsthand at a River Cats game. It's quick. You tap the head, you watch it on the big screen. It literally takes seconds, and then if it's within the box, even if it's by a seam, it's a strike, right? So it's pretty quick. But as far as the process, the Dodgers are going to go about it. According to Joe Sheehan, the Dodgers are going about it wrong because the percentages of what they used in the ABS and in the minor leagues, 50% or 56% of the correct calls were done by catchers, 50% by the batters, and only 41% by the pitchers. And again, I can understand that because the pitcher's going through his motion. You really can't see where the ball, to a certain extent, as far as like with the minutia, right? It's going to be hard for them to really make that call. So it's going to be the catcher's deal. And to your point, Marty, you can't do it in the third inning. You want to wait until maybe the sixth inning and pass, and in certain situations, in certain counts. As you said, I think Joe Sheehan talked about the 1-1 count and the 3-2 count. Yeah. So,
and Marty, you know what?
It's going to be fascinating.
You know what? Again, when I was younger, did I think we would see these the technology used like this in a game? I didn't think it would happen. However, where does it end in our lifetime? Are we going to see? Is it going to be like tennis? Is the bag going to be a sensor like? Foul ball's called by the umpire? We don't need an umpire. When is the umpire going to become obsolete at that rate?
Hey, and I hate to date it, but if you read the sporting news back in the 1940s, the late 40s, they were going to put a noise on the bag.
Yeah.
It went off and you hit the bag.
Yeah.
So they've been thinking about this for 50 years.
I hate to see the dilution of the umpire's importance. I don't like it either. How about a scenario where you have somebody, a batter particularly, it's always right, never wrong, right? This guy's going to challenge a pitch 3 or 4 times a game. It's going to become like a John McEnroe type of batter, screaming and yelling that he's always, he's challenging everything. It's going to drive some teams crazy. It's going to be interesting from that standpoint.
If the catcher knows what he's doing, he's going to be able to control the game.
Right.
If the catcher really understands what's going on here and what the strike zone really is. Because if you're right, you continue on with the challenge.
Right.
Yeah, but Marty, these changes are coming pretty fast and furious.
Okay.
And this moves a lot in the last few years.
I think it's fine. I'm used to the game moving along now. If you watch a replay of a game from 15 years ago, and the pitcher's standing there in the game, the batter's standing there. There's a lot of standing around. The game does have a flow to it now that I like it. I do.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I like that too.
A bigger bag is another story. But look.
And the Ghost Runner one, that's something that be adjusted.
Changed. I mean, with AI and Chat GPT, you don't know if we're real. Who knows if it's even me talking tonight.
You don't even notice it when you're at the ballpark.
No, you don't.
Walk. It's become. I don't even notice it. And I will say, when you look up at Oh my gosh, we're in the 7th inning already. The speed of the game has moved it
It
along.
has.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, and the umpires, it's okay. I just don't like to see replay on, and these calls at first, these bang bang calls all the time at first base. It gets a little. It's enough already.
Or the ones
Neither do
where
I.
if you're sliding in a second and your foot raises off the bag by a
That's
millimeter, that part has to be.
That's got to change, and people want it to change. We still have a country of democracy to some degree, and the baseball fans in general don't like that call with the guy slightly coming off the bag. So I think that's going to change. All right, that's it. But all right,
It's pretty good when a guy ends up losing his no-hitter when he's off the bag by 2 feet. So it works out. I like to see it when it fixes the game. It fixes.
Oh, the one thing we figured out tonight, Bader and Arraez, okay. We want another pitcher, and my fear is, and Rick says it'll play out in spring training. Glenn, you say it. The bullpen. I'd like to see a closer in that bullpen, and then you can mix and match with all these other guys around it. But I want that one guy in the 9th inning to get those 3 outs, and I think that's the one thing that still has to happen. So we'll see. We'll do this next week again, and we'll do it again. But we're just beginning on all that, so it's great to have everyone on. It's good.
Hey, and pitchers and catchers may report by the time we go
February
live.
Yeah, next week. The weather's beautiful down here. It's gorgeous during the day, and we'll be done with football on Sunday. Thank God. And we'll be ready for baseball again, and that's what it's all about. So it's good. Mardi Gras is March 24th. It's a big dinner at Original Joe's. We do it every year before the opener. So martylurie@yahoo.com if you're interested. And basically, Jordan Hicks, good luck wherever you end up. That Devers trade, and Rick brought it up. We were starting today. Boy, Jordan Hicks, 0.
Yeah, that's a great trade, Boston. Wow. Jeez.
Boston didn't get much in that.
I tell you what, Buster Posey, he worked the deal. I tell you, that was a masterclass.
They knew, and they grabbed Devers. Devers is the key, almost the key to the season for me.
Yes,
I mean, he's the kind of he's an MVP type.
Yep,
he's your carrier.
And I'll say it again, and I've said it 10 times. You didn't have a great year last year for the Giants. He did not. Struck out a lot, and I want to see more from him. And he's a key for me. All right, we'll do this again next week.
Thanks
Glenn,
for having me. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Love talking ball.
Okay.
Rick, thank you. And Eric, thank you. And thanks, everyone, for listening. And like and subscribe.
Yes.
We want you to do that. All right.
And before we get out of here, Marty, let's not forget, Marty Lurie is now on TikTok. So if you guys want to go check out some of the clips.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Talk about, oh, my God. More
changes.
There you go. Look at that. Marty Lurie. There is on. If you go Marty Lurie YT, there you go. You'll be able to catch some of these little shorts that we put out. So
very good, Eric.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that. Yeah. We're owned by TikTok. Great.
We're the pro.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks,
Take
Marty.
care, everyone.
Take care. All right, thank you.
Thank you kindly. Enjoy the next week. We've got a whole bunch of baseball to speak on here at Marty and for